Hey everybody, it's Gary Lucas. So glad you could pop in. I know Lulu is bestirring herself in the other room, and Caroline is on the phone making deals right now in her casting business. There's a lot of activity in the West Village all of a sudden because they're filming a TV series. I guess the name of it is New Amsterdam. Isn't that what they used to call New York? Yeah, I guess so. It was a Peter Stuyvesant thing. And I've never seen it. I guess it's a network show. I've never heard of the stars, but I did duly write them down after talking to a grip on the way over here. But Caroline, of course, knows every actor in New York, and in fact, every wise guy or wannabe wise guy actor is her specialty. We used to not be able to walk on the street here without some guy who'd been in a Sopranos type TV show or a Godfather movie go, "Hey Caroline, how are you?" And they came out of the woodwork when they saw her. But let's just get right down to it. Okay. Well, let's pause for a moment and take stock of this beautiful afternoon. Workmen are out in full force. I don't know what the heck they're doing on this building. Maybe putting in a hot tub. I really don't know. Or playing Chutes and Ladders. I believe Hugh Jackman lives in that little house on the top there that I've not seen. Then we have the oligarch's mansion going up with Old Glory. It's a lively day in the neighborhood, considering the pandemic count is none too good. Certainly not across America. I mean, what's the latest statistic? Maybe 500,000, maybe 750,000 deaths by February. The mind boggles. And Trump fiddles while America burns. And, well, anyway, what better way to while away the hours than with Elena Ferrante's latest book, The Lying Life of Adults. Truer words were never spoken, or maybe untrue words. This is a really good read. I'm swept up in it now, about halfway through. Caroline savored it first. I didn't do a his or hers copy this time because I got plenty of other things I'm reading and preoccupied with, but I can recommend her fiction wholeheartedly. I think she's one of the best writers going. I have a good friend who has some sort of prejudice against female writers. I don't know why, because there's so many fantastic ones throughout the ages, and Elena Ferrante is right at the top currently. This is a really interesting thing I picked up for a song on Discogs, great music website where all sorts of remaindered or out-of-print things live at reasonable prices. And this is the music from the films of Serge Gainsbourg, or Gainsbourg's music, let's say, that was used in many films that he was involved with. And I love his work overall. He's got a fascinating story, and you could do no worse than read Sylvie Simmons' biography of Gainsbourg, which is a pleasurable read. And the reason I picked this one up is that it contains the unused take of Nico, Krista Pofkin, the famous Nico of Velvet Underground fame and her own solo album fame. This is probably her first known recording, and she sings the title song of a film called Striptease here by Jacques Poitrenaud, which is sadly out of print as a DVD, although again I managed to pick one up, and what a great film it is. And Nico is a total star in the film. And hey, if you play your cards right and contact me, I may know where there's some DVDs available of this film, because you really should see it if you're a Nico fan. It's really great stuff. But this is a take of the title song that in the film was sung by Juliet Greco, who, although good, I don't know, Nico surpasses the vocal by a long shot, and I don't know why it was not used. But she sounds fully formed on this version and cognizant. And, it wasn't until she came to America later on and hooked up with Lou Reed and the Velvet Underground did she really break out. But had a fantastic career anyway, hobnobbing with all sorts of people, including my friend Andrew Loog Oldham, the Rolling Stones manager and producer, who signed her to his Immediate Records label, the first large independent record label in the UK, and teamed her with Jimmy Page to make a single called I'm Not Saying, a Gordon Lightfoot cover, which is really good. Check that one out. But this Striptease is just sublime. I think I'll post a clip. I think there's a couple of fan clips of the song on YouTube after this broadcast. And speaking of Andrew Loog Oldham, there's a great write-up by a well-known music blogger and tech blogger, Bob Lefsetz, who I find very compelling reading for years, although, there are some people who don't get it or are offended, but he's always worth reading, and you can always learn a lot by reading his columns. And just check out, I think it's lefsetz.com. Lefsetz, but he has a really good appreciation of the single Satisfaction by my favorite band, the Rolling Stones, and a version of which I played at the top of the show today. And this summer marked, I think, the 50th anniversary somewhere of that going to number one in the States, and it was their first number one hit here and pretty much all over the world. And what an exciting time that was when it came out, because everything about this track was mystifying and spectacular, and the lyrics were controversial today. They wouldn't probably be regarded as such, but it's more or less a perfect record. And one nice thing to note about it is that Jack Nitzsche, who worked with the Stones extensively, who was an arranger for Phil Spector, and a songwriter and an artist himself, film music composer. He had a very long and illustrious career. He plays piano, and it's buried on this track. Little known fact, but you can search on YouTube, and there are instrumental versions of the track without the vocal by Mick, and you can hear his piano in there, and it kind of glues the whole track together in a way. It keeps it rolling along smoothly. And what else I'm really enjoying is Coda Klute's book, Frank and Co. Coda Klute is one of my oldest and dearest friends. He is the Dutch Zappa Beefheart go-to guy of the Netherlands. He was a close personal friend of Frank's, as was his father, who sadly to say just passed away peacefully. So sorry. But he was a great guy too, and he was the first rock DJ, his father, in the Netherlands. Anyway, if you're at all interested in things Frank Zappa, gotta pick this up. I think you can get it at codekloet.nl. CODEKLOET, one word, .nl. You can order yourself a copy. And so now, let's resume. Well, we still have some light. Pay a visit to Carmine Street Guitar any minute this week. I mean, I am trying to stay indoors, but I'm taking short little trips in the neighborhood, certainly wearing a mask, as always. A little bit of the overture to Parsifal, one of my favorites. Actually, no, what is it? I'm mistaken. That's the overture to Tannhäuser by Richard Wagner. My arrangement. I was all set to play a whole bunch of these arrangements up at McGill University under the auspices of my late friend, dear friend, Sandy Pearlman, who you may know of as the producer and lyricist of the Blue Oyster Cult for many years. He was also one of the seminal rock critics back in the day, in which the only magazines worth reading about rock were Crawdaddy magazine, which Paul Williams edited, and Hit Parader magazine. Jim Delahant was the main guy there. This is before the advent of Rolling Stone. And Sandy always had very curious and interesting pieces and had weighty philosophical constructs at play in explicating, trying to verbalize what it was about rock music that was so interesting and compelling. So he was a very, very close friend of mine, and he later in life became a professor at McGill up in Montreal, one of the most beautiful cities in the world. If you're going up there, don't forget Mile End. This is where Leonard Cohen grew up. It's the Jewish neighborhood. They have the best bagels up there. I have to tell you, I'm a bagel aficionado. They're fresh. You can eat them by the sack, like White Castle burgers. So good. And they have a great cream cheese. The street is Saint-Viateur. Check it out. They also have excellent pastrami and corned beef up there, although it's under the curious appellation smoked meat. This is how it appears at, for instance, Schwartz's Deli in Montreal. That's a must-go. But I digress. Anyway, Sandy was giving a course up there called Bruckner as Heavy Metal. Now, Anton Bruckner is a contemporary, but mainly a little bit later than Wagner in his heyday. But, wrote some very, very powerful symphonies, especially. Very, very strong and thematically bold in a Wagnerian sense. So Sandy had me arrange, I think it was the first movement of the 8th Symphony for electric guitar, which I duly did. I mean, who else was crazy enough to tackle such a thing? But he paid me, and it was fun to go up there and play this, and he got the CBC to cover the event. So I have to dig that up and post that too, because it was great. Anyway, Sandy is no longer with us. So many of the great figures of my youth and contemporaries have gone astray and fallen under, but anyway, I'd like to remember Sandy because he was always intellectually stimulating, always. He was one of the most brilliant people I knew, and a great lyricist, and yes, a very bold promoter of groups, and as far as casting an image around the artists that he worked with, and he was the real deal. And anyway, okay, I think I have time for one more little bagatelle here. Bit of Leroy Shields music for the Little Rascals, and it's a pleasure to play for you again, as always. And please tune in again on Saturday at 3 Eastern Standard Time. I'll be here, as always. And till then, stay safe, be well, wear that mask, and love everybody. Okay, we'll get through this, and we're going to win. You mark my words, man. When that guy steps down, the bells will be pealing and people will be shouting from the rooftops, at least in my neighborhood. Okay, talk to you soon. Bye now.